This is your definitive guide to choosing round glasses, and in today's video I've got a 3-step guide to help you select the round frames that are perfect for you. So hi, I'm Robert, Style and Vision Consultant here at the Spectacle Factory, and it's my job to pair you with your perfect pair of glasses. And for a lot of people, their perfect glasses are round. But if you're one of those people that thinks round glasses are not for you, think again, because in this video I'm going to be featuring some of the world's best round frames, and we're going to be highlighting certain key elements of them that make them unique and why that might make them a perfect match for you. Now, when most people think of round frames, they think of this quintessential look, the Harry Potter look, as a lot of people call it, and that's used as a pejorative, but for me, it really isn't. I think Harry Potter is one of the most iconic characters. Anyway, that aside, a lot of people talk down about this kind of style, and I understand why. This is extremely round, a very kind of vintagey look, which you could term as being outdated, especially thanks to the saddle bridge that you just don't see in glasses nowadays. Pretty much, like I said, the quintessential round eye style. But nowadays in 2025, most round glasses are not at all like this. And people still have this fear or phobia that when they get round glasses, they're gonna look like that. Now, that look is cool for the right person, but it's not for everyone. In fact, it's not for most people. And here in front of me, you see actually a wide range of round frames, most of which are not actually round or not actually circular. For example, this is the Walter and Herbert Fleming, which is a great representation of what a lot of people would call round glasses, but really aren't. You know, overall, these are actually rectangular, but with rounded edges. If you're someone who's only ever had square glasses or rectangular glasses before, something like this can be a great option because it's not too far away from what you're familiar with, and it's a great stepping stone, therefore, from one style to another. This wears quite large for a round frame, and we are going to talk about sizing shortly. Walter and Herbert are a British-based brand, actually founded very close to where our store is in the northwest of England, and they make great value made-in-England frames that are really classic, but that's just one example of a take on round glasses. A great shape for a lot of people is a shield shape. And again, this helps to ease you into wearing a round frame because a shield shape is defined as being flat and angular along the top, but then rounded at the bottom. And the Rue Bosquet from Harlem is a perfect example of that. I love this round frame. For me, it's one of my most recommended pairs of glasses, full stop. One of the reasons for that, and this is an important consideration if you're looking for new glasses, is that round frames like this are ideal for high prescriptions. The general rule of thumb, if you have a stronger prescription, is that the rounder you go, the thinner your lenses are going to be. But then again, a lot of people don't want to go too round. A shield shape helps you achieve that rounded look without being overly styled. And the fact that this is chunkier as well, because this is made from a really thick cut of handmade acetate, is that it does help to hide even more any lens thickness that you might have remaining. And the temple design with this matte finishing and the inlay that's set within it is a beautiful touch, and it's one of the reasons why this is one of my most recommended frames of all. And then finally, for certain face shapes, you can go more oval. Now, this tends to be a slightly more feminine style, although that is definitely not true for everyone. There are a lot of guys who wear this shape of frame. So for certain people with certain dimensions of face, so for example, when their face might be a little bit shorter and wider, oval frames can work really well for them because it's following those proportions of the face. And that's a great way to look at it. I'm not a big believer in face shape, but I do think different people have different proportions. If your face is taller and narrower, then a frame that is also narrower and taller will tend to work better for you, and vice versa. An oval shape is really good for those with wider faces that might be a little bit shorter. It's also a very trendy look. You see a lot of the fashion designers coming out with these kind of styles because it's really in fashion. So for example, this is from Saint Laurent, and yeah, that follows that cliche quite well. For someone with a squarer face, they can really pull off that fully circular look like this. But for people with more rounded features, a shape like this is ideal. This is the Reykjavik Eyes Elias. And you can see that again, like the Fleming, it's more of a rounded square. So this is the kind of round frame that you can wear if you feel like you have a very round face, because it's still going to contrast nicely. And that's again the rule of thumb when it comes to shape. You want to contrast against your face shape. Now, the second thing that's crucial, maybe the most crucial thing to consider when choosing round glasses, is the sizing. This is where it gets a bit tricky because there are sizing numbers on the inside of all glasses. They're generally set within the temples here. And a lot of people will look at the sizing of the glasses they have now and use that as a reference for choosing their next pair. But if you're going from one shape to another, that does not follow true. So for example, if I was going to wear a rectangular frame, I'd probably wear around about 53, maybe 52 millimeter. But when it comes to round glasses, they're generally meant to be worn smaller. And that's the key. So if you're typically wearing like a 52, 53 millimeter frame, you want to be shopping for something like a 47, 48, 49 in a round eye. Now we're going to come back to the design of this carbon wood frame from JF later on in the video. I think it's awesome, but the reason why I picked this out at first is because the lugs do a lot of work in making this the correct fit for someone. And you'll tend to find that generally most round frames have these lugs. You can see it's particularly prominent on this Luca d'Estelle frame, which make the frames fit wider than the lens size suggests. If you're shopping for round glasses, that's something you probably just have to get accustomed to. Now, because round glasses tend to fit smaller, that leads a lot of people with larger faces to think that round glasses just can't work for them. But there are definitely examples of round frames that will work for you. And that's why I picked out this Lindberg Buffalo Horn Titanium. This is the 1219, a very oversized round style. You'll rarely see frames that are round that are this large, but they are out there. It just takes a little bit more work to find them. And the rule of thumb is that if you do have a big head, you generally want frames like this, which are more straight along the top and then more rounded at the bottom. It just tends to work better. This round frame is beautiful to wear, by the way. With the titanium temples and the ultra lightweight buffalo horn front, they really feel like they're almost not there. And at the same time, they still have a lot of presence, and they have, very much a formal look that's not too serious. So I think this is great for someone who wants to look professional but stylish at the same time. Now, buffalo naturally shed the horns, and the older the buffalo is when it sheds its horn, the darker it will be. So that would have come from quite a mature buffalo. In conclusion, you generally want to choose round glasses that don't fit larger than your face. So you want them to be within the confines of your face. The edge of the shape should be no wider than my face. And in this case it is, because this is a really large frame. You want to be aiming more towards the proportions of this. Now, the final step to choosing the right round glasses for you is the construction. The construction of your frames can really say a lot about your personality, and it can completely transform how your round glasses are going to look. The biggest part of the construction is actually the material. Of course, we have thinner metal frames like this, and titanium frames are generally easier to wear because they are thinner and less imposing on the face. This is going to stand out as being less round, not just because of the shape, but because of the material. Meanwhile, going for something super bold and chunky in an acetate like this is the other end of the spectrum. The material here makes these glasses look super artistic, super creative, and extremely bold. And for the right person, this is iconic. The amazing artist David Hockney wears this exact style, and it's really part of how I perceive him as an artist. And if that is the kind of person that you are, going for a frame in a really thick acetate like this, particularly combined with the overly circular shape, can be the right look. While we're on the subject of this frame, by the way, it comes with a really cool sun clip. So a lot of people get these mainly as sunglasses, which they can then also wear as glasses as well. Because with the sun clip, it is a bit easier to pull off, I think. Talking about material choice, of course, we already mentioned the buffalo horn in the Lindberg frame. This pair from Luca d'Estelle is made from leather and stone. And that's one of the elements that makes this really eye-catching, as well as the fact that obviously the top half of the glasses is deconstructed. It provides this negative space, and the frames feel strangely balanced, but somehow it works. And if you wear this kind of frame with confidence, I think it's an amazing look. These frames being made in stone, they naturally catch the light, and that's what gives them, that little bit of difference that separates them from all other round glasses in the world. And then, of course, we have those carbon fiber frames. JF is my favorite eyewear brand because they just create such unique pieces that are still very wearable. This is the 2901, probably one of our most popular round frames over the last 5 years. The fact that it's made in carbon fiber bridges that gap between a thick acetate and a thin titanium. It's just in the middle, and it allows them to use this beautiful bold color. Now, it does come in more subtle and more neutral colors, of course. I picked this one out in the red because it just shows how different one pair of round glasses can be like this to another. There's so much variety, and that's why there really is something for everyone. I would challenge you, if you think that round glasses after watching this video are not for you, that I can definitely find one that will be.